And we are live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of NASCAR Heat 5 on the channel here this evening. We have the NASCAR Racing Experience 300 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Season opener at Daytona Speedway continues here tonight. Running as Kyle Busch for this Xfinity Series season. You see we've got the Twix number 54 car for tonight's race already. 7-8. Westbrook, Braden Thompson, Keenan Brenning back at Daytona, yes indeed, for the second race in a row. For some lag going on right now, and I'm not sure exactly why. My hotspot's usually pretty reliable, but not tonight. From the rear, did not qualify, did not practice once again. I did tighten the car up just a little bit from the standard setting. Reason being is because last night the truck was a little loose on the balance setup, so I moved it a little bit to tighten it up. To hopefully compensate for it. I know the trucks and Xfinity cars are different, but I was hoping to help out there. It's Daytona, so super speedway racing. As long as we stay in the draft, that'll be fine. If we have to loosen it up at all, we will under the first pit stop. So we're just going to hop on into this realistic broadcast as usual. Here we go. Holden Mason, welcome to the stream. Josh Balicki, Alex LeBay, both starting at the rear of the field in today's race. Chase Briscoe looking a bit slow, but Daytona, it doesn't matter where you start or who you are, you can win this race. Thanks for the congrats on 300 subs. And here we go, the green flag is in the air. 36 cars will lead the field to the green, and we are underway. The NASCAR Xfinity Series season is underway here at Daytona for NASCAR Heat 5. We had a thriller in the Truck Series last night, taking the lead, coming to 2 laps behind. Luckily, Josh Balicki is lined up behind us right now. King, welcome to the stream. Bump draft going into turn 3. That's going to get us by Alex LeBay. 3x3 through the field towards the front. And the very beginning of this race is underway. 1 lap will be in the books. Flat out racing for points. There is a playoff. 26 race regular season here in the Xfinity Series. 7 races in the postseason. Every race matters. Who will win and lock themselves into the playoffs today. Big run up the middle, down the back straightaway. Trying to go from the back to the front. What we did in the truck race last night. Great move to get to the inside there of the 0 of Jeffrey Earnhardt. Definitely got to be careful with the bump drafting, that is for sure, especially in the center of the corners. Oh, contact with the 21 as we kind of rode up the hill a little bit in the tri-oval. Nothing major. Still 3x3 towards the inside line right now. Oh, big bobble by the 13. At the 08 right in front of us. Oh, Grant Jr. Contact with the 13 to the outside of Chad Fincham. Fincham loses a ton of spots. That could have been catastrophe. Or a catastrophe, rather. Stumbling over my words early on in this one. Right up the middle to get the position there on Ross Chastain in the 10 for Colleague Racing. Inside line. Running back through about the first 6 or 7 cars there through turns 1 and 2 this lap. Alexis Ruiz, welcome to the stream. Robbie Dixon, Roberto Sandoval, all welcome. The outside not working as well as what you might have seen in the Truck Series race last night. That was run in the nighttime. This race, of course, in the daytime here at Daytona. Not that that really matters too much. Maybe a little bit of the handling on the racetrack, not as much grip. Down to the inside, going to get underneath. Joe Graff Jr. in the 08 car that time. And now underneath Harrison Burton, the rookie, in the 20. the son of Jeff Burton. Yes, I did see the schedule change when I was at work today. Pretty interesting that they couldn't get a Watkins Glen race and they ended up running, or they're going to run the road course at Daytona. I thought from reports about a month or so ago, it seemed like they were going to be able to actually run at Watkins Glen. So that kind of surprised me that they went that route. And I think they added the Daytona road course so they could at least have another road course race outside of the Charlotte Roval this year. Because they could have went from 3 road courses to 1. I'm sure they weren't going to do that. So that's probably why they ended up changing it to there. Down to the bottom, big side draft there on Austin Hill in the 61. And now the inside line is more than just the top 10 that is off Freight Train on the bottom. Looked like the top 10 to 11 cars. 3 wide back for 11th place. Riley Herbst will now get past Kyle Busch to the top 10 in another Xfinity Series race. Can we get him a championship this year? We'll have to wait and see. It all starts, got to go race by race. Wanting to win the regular season championship, of course, for a 15 playoff point bonus entering the postseason of play. And every win is worth another 5 playoff points. Keep getting big runs, taking it to the outside, just can't get a lot of help behind us. Cars are slowly starting to drift up now. Right in line behind Mike Snyder, a 45.7 flat that last time by. A huge run for Kyle Busch in the 54 to the back bumper of Ryan Sieg. Wheeling the 39 car. And back to the top side now, down the back straightaway. Big push coming to Brandon Jones in the 19. 2 Toyotas working together. And right back in line behind Sieg again. Going to try to get under him. Sieg tried to pull the block, got a little loose. He's going to lose his momentum. And he's going to lose a position on the racetrack. Big run to the inside of Brandon Jones. Ray Black Jr. is there. Pulls in front of Jones, but Kyle Busch with the run to the inside and up to third, right behind Austin Cindric in second place, and Brandon Brown, who currently leads the field in the 68 car. Big run for Kyle Busch to the bottom. Oh, a huge block there by Austin Cindric. Contact was made down the backstretch. Cindric got a little loose. Still side by side for second place. In line now behind Brandon Brown. Trying to clear the 22 of Cindric. Not going to be able to do it that time. This is a 300-mile, 120-lap race here today. We are already 10 laps in. Bump track from behind now from Ray Black Jr. in the 07. And finally up to second place all alone. Brandon Brown had a huge lead out in front of the field. Kyle Busch going to try to get a big run from second place. Currently we run caution free in the early going. A little bit of a bottoming out going into turn 3. That's going to break the momentum. Top portion of the field really getting strung out early. You didn't see that much in the truck race last night. Everybody was pretty well congested together the entirety of that 100-lap race. This race only 20 laps longer. It just feels like everything's getting more strung out. Very hard to run down this lead car in the draft of Brandon Brown. We're going to need a lot of help from behind at some point, you would have to think. And we are getting a big run ourselves, but are we going to be able to actually pull out and make a move to the inside of Brown or outside, depending on what lane he runs? Brown down on the bottom. A big run to the back bumper, though, goes Kyle Busch, locking bumpers in the center of turns 3 and 4. 2 cars have just pulled the field by about 3 car lengths. make it 4 at the start-finish line. Brandon Brown leading laps early and quite a few of them. Now looking to the inside goes Kyle Busch. Brown left the door open just enough. Run is going to fade out though, and Brandon Brown is going to come down and clear us once again. Another big gap. Meanwhile, Ray Black Jr., help from behind from Ryan Sieg, has closed the gap to our back bumper, slightly at least. Another big run to the back of the 68 of Brown. Looking to the outside. Nothing going. Andrew, welcome to the stream. Or sorry, Angel, welcome to the stream. Brown running just a hair off the bottom through 1 and 2, maybe trying to protect the top side if we get a run there. Looking to the inside, down the back straightaway. Big side draft, a little contact though, didn't want that. It's going to pull the cars behind us closer. Brown is stuck on the top side with no help. Everybody goes to the bottom in the center of the corner again. And a push from the 07 car from behind of Ray Black Jr. Kyle Busch to the lead for the first time here. Truck Series race last night from the back to the front in both races. Car definitely feels more stable than what we had in the Truck Series. Riding as Chase Elliott where we had gotten the win. Can we go 2 for 2 in speed weeks? And haven't really seen the outside make many moves in this race so far. Brandon Jones may be looking to the outside. He's got a car already there, which is still Brandon Brown, who has not been able to get back to the bottom. We're going to alternate through the cameras here for the first time in the race today. Show you the new alternative angles now with the Xfinity Series cars as we ride along this Toyota Supra. Jones making the move to the outside. Moved in front of the 68 of Brandon Brown. First time we've really seen a big run coming on the outside. Able to block it and get back to the bottom easily before we get into turn 3. Using the controller again tonight, as you guys see in the lower left-hand corner of the screen where the camera is. My hands are obviously not on the wheel right now, so that would mean we're using the controller, barely getting to the bottom in front of Ray Black Jr. That was a close call. Look at Riley Herbst trying to go up the middle. Brandon Jones seeing that, jumps in front of the Toyota Supra. Making 2 Toyotas now in that middle lane, and Brandon Brown in the outside all by himself, but a third line is forming in behind him. Will it be too little too late? Not yet, at least. Oh, really loose off the exit of the corner. Got the left sides down on the apron. Great job blocking so far. Leading laps consecutively still here at Daytona. Yep, Kentucky this Sunday for the NASCAR Cup Series. Should be a lot of fun. I think all 3 series are racing there this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Brandon Jones, another good block there on Ray Black Jr. And now up the middle, it's going to be Michael Annette. It looks like in the 1. Brandon Jones is there. About made contact. Big side draft off the right rear corner panel now from Brandon Jones. And a big run to the outside as he wants to take the lead at Daytona. And he will as they go 3 by 3 through the pack behind him. Justin Haley to the inside. Riley Herbst to the outside. 3 wide, stuck in the middle lane now. And drifting backwards. Trying to side draft both lanes and keep them behind us. Just not able to work. And how quickly we went from 1st to 7th in the span of less than a half a lap. Right in behind Brandon Brown. Really tough to tell where exactly you're going with this camera angle when you're locked on bumper to bumper. Yep, glad Jimmy Johnson's back. Definitely a speedy, quick recovery from COVID. Cleared to return back to Kentucky this weekend. And he's still in the top 16 in the point standings, too. Slowly clip the back bumper of Michael Annett. He's really pinching us down right now. Tough to tell if we're 3 wide or not. I don't believe we are. And no, we are not. So back up to 3rd place once again behind Justin Haley, with Brandon Jones currently leading the field. Jumping to the outside again. Still no cautions up to this point. We had 6 cautions in the Truck Series race last night. Barely able to clear Justin Haley on the outside. A great move in turns 1 and 2. Not a lot of help. Basically made that move on our own. And now to the inside of Jones. Quick little side draft. Now he comes down trying to pinch us. I believe Jones led that last lap at the line. He doesn't have nearly as much help as we do on the bottom, though. Quick reminder that tomorrow night will be the Daytona 500 for NASCAR Heat 5 for the Cup Series, of course, as we wrap up our speed weeks. We will have a doubleheader on the channel tomorrow. We will run the second Xfinity race as well tomorrow. That will be held in the morning hours, late morning hours. That will be at Charlotte. And then the Daytona 500 tomorrow evening, roughly looking at about 5 to 6 o'clock, somewhere in that time frame. Justin Haley up the middle now, looking for the lead. 3 wide, and he is going to make the move to the lead. What a move from Justin Haley. Still getting pushed from behind, though, from Michael Annett. We are still 3 wide for the lead. Joseph Then, welcome to the stream. Michael Annett has absolutely pushed the 54 of Kyle Busch to the front, at least keeping him there. Two by two all the way back. Harrison Burton, who started mid-pack, passed him in the very early going of the race when we worked our way towards the front of the field. Of course, remember the Xfinity Series field was trimmed from 38 to 36 cars this season, so that is a difference that you also see here in the Xfinity Series on NASCAR Heat 5 compared to NASCAR Heat 4 as a shortened field by 2 cars. Yeah, the Charlotte race tomorrow morning will likely be about 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I can all but guarantee that would be the start time for that. Cup Series will likely be between 5 and 6 o'clock. And I'm going to leave it up to you guys in the chat down below. Would you guys prefer me, and this will be for all 3 series. Obviously, we didn't practice or qualify for these first 2 races on NASCAR Heat 5, both at Daytona for the Truck and Xfinity Series. But starting tomorrow, I'm going to obviously try to practice a little bit for the Daytona 500 with the Cup cars. Do you guys want me to show practice qualifying and a possible test session, but likely just practice qualifying on the live stream? Or do you guys want me to pick it up straight from the start of the race? I haven't really shown practice on here. I've shown qualifying at times, but very rarely. But I'll leave that up to you guys in the chats. Take a little vote. We got a lot of yeses. That's awesome. All right, so okay, that'll make it a little bit better to try and determine a start time then, so I won't have to guesstimate when I'm going to be done with practice or qualifying. Probably why you guys notice that I'm like 10 to 15 minutes late a lot if I do try to set a time, is because I spent too much time practicing or qualifying. Gabe Delgado, welcome to the stream. Remember, it took a little bit to get to the lead once we got to second place in Brandon Brown. Again, this is likely going to be a 2 to 3 pit stop race here today. Looking at about 38 to 42 laps will be the pit window. You make it on a full run of fuel. Tires, again, not an issue on these super speedway racetracks. We continue to block both lanes. CJ McLaughlin in the top 5 now, working the inside lane. Here he comes. 3 wide for second. Look at that pack behind us. It's like a hornet's nest. Or a swarm of bees. All the colors just fading together. This is where you usually see the big one. Everybody trying to transfer lanes. Middle lane starting to fade back in the center of the corner. That's led by Harrison Burton for the moment. We'll see if Michael Annett will try to stay on the outside or not. Big side draft from the 20, trying to hold that outside lane up. They couldn't get quite as big of a run off the exit of turn 2. CJ McLaughlin in that 93 car, who is in line on the inside right behind us in the center of the corner. So kind of a slow start. We saw a lot of freight training for about the first 15 to 16 laps of the race, but since then business has picked up. Remember, no stages, so everybody's got to take calm. And remember, just like in the truck series that I mentioned last night, and we will see this for all the championship mode races and all 3 series, I have what is a 5-second clock. Of course, in actual NASCAR, there's a 5-minute clock to repair damage. Ours is 5-second clock. There are no DNFs in the championship mode, only the career mode. So I'm going to make a stipulation for myself that if I have more than 5 seconds of damage, so 6+ seconds of damage, I cannot repair it. So if we get in a wreck, or the big one, for instance, here at Daytona tonight, and we have more than 6 seconds of damage, we cannot repair it. It will be like that for any other race throughout the course of the season to try and stiffen the competition just a little bit more. But last night, not only we didn't make it into an accident, we were able to win the race. And we did not see a big one at all. We had 6 cautions, but I did not even see any of those yellows. They were likely single car incidents all the way through the race. Didn't even see anything out of the rear view or the look back cam. All 3 lines really slowing each other up quite a bit, though. There's a lot of side drafting going on right now. Look at the little bit of room that Michael Annett has, just enough to keep his car up there. There's only 1 car lined in behind him right now, as he tries to desperately side draft Harrison Burton to his inside. The top 3 have now prevailed on the inside line. The middle and upper lanes folded back. Look at the 93. McLaughlin makes a move to the top. A second move going even higher. He's going to lose the bottom, and he will not be able to get to the lead. Myatt Snyder in the 21 is up to second, along with Harrison Burton. The middle line starting to prevail again in the second half of the lap. Thanks, Holden. Already lap 30. Still no caution here tonight. All 34 cars on the racetrack. We had to make 1 green flag stop in the race last night, and 1 pit stop under caution, which made up the 2 pit stops that we had in the race. Today, we're looking at 2 to 3 stops. But we have to make a green flag stop again. We are less than 15 laps away from finding out, but I can guarantee if we get a caution, you're going to see a lot of drivers coming onto pit road. Everybody hoping that they won't be in that caution. We have currently 12 people watching right now. Of course, we hit a stream high on the channel last night. Had 28 people watching by the end of the race. I know NASCAR Weekly Podcast is going on right now. I watched the first hour, or a little less than an hour of it. Yeah, Josh Williams, I know they have Tommy Joe Martins on the show tonight too, so wouldn't be surprised if some of you guys are either just coming from there, whether it is now or after the show is over tonight, but definitely understand. Justin Allgaier, first time we've seen him up towards the front of the field. He is now working the inside as the 21 of Myatt Snyder moves to the middle lane. Harrison Burton now all the way to the top. Everybody's just shuffling lines. And Kyle Busch has had the lead for kind of a while. Owen Hayes, welcome to the stream. Here comes Harrison Burton. He had a big run going into turn 1, stalled out again though when the 21 got on his left rear corner panel. Center of the corner, was able to side draft and suck the car to the outside back. A perfect job protecting all 3 lanes. We had troubles trying to protect the lanes in the truck race last night. It felt like the runs were coming more abruptly, and it was very hard to block. I don't think we led for more than 5 laps at a time, but so far today, you've seen us lead in groups before losing the lead. And not just us, it's like that for seemingly anybody. Even when Brandon Jones had taken the lead away from us, he led for about 3 to 4 laps after. I think you're going to see a lot of that tonight as well. Going forward, it just doesn't seem like the runs are quite as aggressive as what we saw in the truck race last night. Now the Cup Series race for the Daytona 500 tomorrow might be a different question. You might be a lot like that truck race we know with the Cup Series current rules package on the super speedways at Daytona and Talladega. They are very, very aggressive with the bumping, the side drafting, because they just get such big runs. Very difficult to block off, especially on a double move. Joe Graf Jr. up to second place, can't quite clear the 2 cars to the outside. And that second car can just get in line enough to clear or hold clear of the 7 and the 21, or whoever at the time leads that middle and upper lane. It will create more space for, if they get a run, they can make a move to the outside if needed. Kind of like Joe Graf Jr. is doing now. Top 3 all on the inside now is exactly what Joe Graf Jr. needed, but now he's got to back off just a hair to get a push from Justin Haley from behind and make a move. We'll see if he'll make it down the back straightaway. You saw the 93 at the time of CJ McLaughlin do that a handful of laps ago. We were able to block him off. That is exactly what Joe Graf Jr. is going to have to do this time. Does he have a big enough run? Will he make the move? I don't think he's got the run he needed that time down the back stretch. We'll have to wait until the front stretch. Middle and upper lanes really started to fade back. When will the green flag pit stops come? We are less than 10 laps away from finding out. Currently up to 20 people watching right now in the chat. And there goes the move to the outside for Joe Graf Jr., but he didn't have Haley to follow with him, so that was the problem there. He had a little bit of a run, but not enough of a run for 1. For 2, Haley never followed him. So as soon as he pulled out of line, that run stalled out. He's on the outside lane, that 3rd lane on the top. Allgaier now moves to the middle, and now back to the top behind him. Ross Chastain's in the mix in the top 5 for Colleague Racing in the 10 car. He's right behind his Colleague Racing teammate Justin Haley. We've seen the Colleague Racing cars in the Xfinity Series work well together and get wins in recent years. You think of Justin Haley at Talladega earlier this year, where all 3 cars worked together. You think of last year in the July race when Ross Chastain won. They all, at Daytona, might I add, they all worked together to get the win. Almost kind of reminding you of like a DEI scenario in the early 2000s where they just all wanted to work together. It didn't matter which one of them won as long as one of them got to victory lane. It was a real team effort. I think that's what you've seen out of Colleague Racing in the Xfinity Series at these super speedway racetracks in the last couple of seasons. But now they're side by side, not working together here. Justin Haley, Ross Chastain, side by side for second. Maybe trying to control both lanes themselves. This still could be teamwork. See Chase Briscoe now into the top 5, working the middle lane. He's been dominant in the Xfinity Series in real life this season. Can he do something here today? Maybe get a win to start the season and to start NASCAR Heat 5 for the Xfinity Series. A bigger run from Chastain, just stalled out in the center of the tri-oval though. Now with everybody running 2 and 3 wide back through the pack, this is going to make it interesting. We are 5 laps or so away, if not sooner, away from green flag pit stops. Everybody that comes down pit road has to make sure they at least have a couple cars go with them to get drafting help. On top of that, not everybody is going to be able to make it back to the line. Somebody is loose in the center of the pack there going into turn 3. They're going to lose a lot of spots. Maybe trying to work their way down to the bottom of the track, knowing that they have to get to pit road soon. Caution is out beforehand. So caution is out of some sort. Couldn't tell exactly who it was. It'll be our first caution of the race today, right before the green flag stops were to come. Yeah, so good note there, Angel, as we make sure we hit pit road. So 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel, no damage needed to be repaired here, and no adjustments needed as well. We've got a fast car, no need to mess with the handling. So yeah, we will be holding practice sessions and qualifying on the live streams. Yeah, I noticed there were all yeses, there was no no, so it was pretty unanimous, but I did not acknowledge that, so I will acknowledge it now. We will hold the practice and qualifying sessions for the races that we do practice to qualify for, such as the Daytona 500 tomorrow. They will all be held in the live stream. And I think that's good too, because it gives you guys enough time to get here in case you can't get to the race in time and you miss the first 10-20 laps. You wouldn't have missed it if I practiced or qualify. So I think that'll work out pretty okay. So we get to our first restart of the race following the first caution. Great jump on the bottom of the track here for Kyle Busch. A lot of drivers dropped to the bottom immediately behind us, such as Justin Haley from second, getting right to our back bumper immediately. But now he's got colleague racing teammate Ross Chastain behind him rather. Will they work together? I think it's safe to say they will. Chastain to the top. Haley did not follow. Chastain doesn't have that big of a run though. Maybe trying to gap himself a little bit, get a big run to the back of Haley again. Chastain keeps peeking up. And now they all go high. Haley did not though. And that is going to allow Chastain to get to the outside, but then they all ducked in line behind Haley, and that might cost Chastain a couple positions. Really trying to side draft that inside lane, holding him back as he did right there in the center of the corner. Chastain with a big run down the back straightaway, and a block to the top side now by Kyle Busch, and back to the bottom by the time we get into 3 to block Justin Haley. Up the middle comes the... can't tell who that is off our back bumper. It is the 08 Joe Graf Jr. Chastain held out to dry on the outside. He is now third in line in that top lane. Big runs coming desperately now. Didn't see this much in the first run, but you are seeing it early in the second fuel run of the race. Oliver's Gaming Channel, welcome to the stream. Billy Kramer, I believe you were in the chat before, but if I missed you there, welcome to the stream. And here comes the 08 big run, could not block it off. Austin Cindric with a great push to the back of the 08 of Joe Graf Jr. And now a push on the bottom for Kyle Busch, coming from Justin Haley. Haley has great super speedway experience, obviously with that win that we mentioned a little bit ago at Talladega earlier this season. He has won a Cup Series race at Daytona 2 years ago. Granted, it was rain shortened, but he still won. And of course, arguably had a win in the Xfinity Series Also, a few years ago at Daytona, passed below the double yellow line, coming to the checkered flag, and was disqualified, his first place position. So he's been very good on the super speedways, and you're seeing him have a great start here to this one today. But this quick race pace with the lack of cautions, we are flying through this one. Again, only one caution. We're already at lap 47. 74 to go. Still quite a ways left. So far, so good. Outside of just the one caution so far, here comes Joe Graff Jr. Another run to the outside again, barely able to block it off. And look at the run up the middle coming from Jeffrey Earnhardt in the 0. Will it Earnhardt win again at Daytona today? And will it be in the Xfinity Series? Big run down the bottom of the track. Not as big of a run though, he couldn't get the help behind him. It's Alex LeBay, who also started at the rear of the field with us. He's in that 36 car on the inside. What company would I rather work for? So between Fox or NBC that covers all of the top 3 series in NASCAR right now, I've always been more of a fan of Fox than honestly of any of the current broadcasters. And even growing up, I always looked to Mike Joy as one of the broadcasters I really liked a lot when I was younger, a lot more memories. Listening, I mean, I get chills so many times listening to some of his older race calls of finishes. Even I've already seen tens and dozens of times. It just never gets old. Between that and the passion for racing itself, probably is the reason for that. But I feel like my style of broadcasting will work better with NBC. I feel like it would mesh better with the way that Steve Letarte, Dale Jr., and Jeff Burton all call the race. So I feel like my style would work better for NBC. I'm nowhere near that level though. I'm just saying that I was asked the question, I was answering the question. That's all I was getting at there. I'll tell you what though, I was thinking about this earlier today too. A very underrated NASCAR broadcaster, and he broadcasted some Cup Series races for a little bit. I don't know if he did it for 1 season or 2 seasons. Back when NASCAR had the Summer Series on TNT there for a handful of years, Ralph Sheheen broadcasted again either 1 or 2 summers. Ralph Sheheen, I had listened to him broadcast for World of Outlaws, and I think he did a full Truck Series season the first year Rick Allen was out of the Truck Series booth when he went to NBC for the Cup Series gig. Ralph Sheheen is really good. I don't feel like he gets talked about enough. I know Alan Bestwick gets talked about a lot within the NASCAR community, at least on YouTube, but I feel like Ralph Sheheen should be right up there with him. He just never quite got the same amount of opportunities that some of these, I guess, veterans in the booth would have had. Oh man, that was a big moment, almost like the car didn't want to turn going into turn 3 that time on the outside. Sure enough, Justin Haley's behind us to try and help us out. We have already lost a couple spots. LeBay to the lead, and Jesse Little, who you saw up at the front of the truck race towards the end last night, here in the Xfinity race is in 2nd place. Trying to get to the inside, can't quite clear Riley Herbst that time. Herbst would be a great driver to work with. Having that affiliation here between Kyle Busch Motorsports and Joe Gibbs Racing. And we are going to catch Riley Herbst down the back straightaway. Big bump draft to Riley, the rookie in the Xfinity Series, running full time this season. Sandwich 3 wide middle and tight. contact with Jesse Little and the 08 there for a moment of Joe Graff Jr. as well. These guys really got stacked up. Now there are 221 cars in this series, much like you saw the 251s in the truck series yesterday. Anthony Alfredo's in the 21 here. You saw Myatt Snyder in the 21 earlier. To the back bumper of Riley Herbst again. He got a little tight after that push. And a big run all the way to the bottom to take it 3 wide down the back straightaway. And this is going to work out for Kyle Busch up to 4th. Right in line behind Allgaier. It's a big push. And he is just able to block us off. I thought for a moment, but Alex LeBay leading laps here. Very great road course racer. Seen him compete for wins in the Xfinity Series in recent years. And to the inside of Allgaier. Didn't give us a lot of room. There's slight contact. So we really tried to squeeze in there, and he was not willing to give us the space. Yeah, sometimes I miss Darrell Waltrip too. Just listening to old races with him in the booth, it just like, it feels like he's been gone longer than a year for some reason. Big gap for the top two. You saw a lot of this early in the going, but granted, when we had this big gap, there's a lot of single file action behind us. That is not the case since the restart. And even about 10 to 15 laps before the caution came out, we were getting very racy. Oh, faking high to go to the inside. A great move from Kyle Busch. And a big side draft on top of it here on LeBay. No contact necessary. LeBay leads the lap at the line. Busch trying to get the run on the bottom. Trying to come and meet him again. You can see how much the side draft works in this game. Able to hold him back. And here comes the 21 to the inside. Peeking in there. Moves the 54. Busch out of the way. 3 wide towards the top side now. Trying to quickly hold our line. And a big push from behind from Jesse Little. Look at the speed down the back straightaway. Still 3 wide all the way to the top side. We have not been in that third line basically all day. But we were there. In line now behind Allgaier. Oh, Hill is there. Contact. Very, very steady. A precarious position for us in the middle lane. 2 Junior Motorsport cars towards the top. Allgaier moves to that middle line. Hangs out his teammate to dry. Oh, bouncing and banging off of cars. Can't get to the bottom still. Got to be careful doing that, especially in the corners. Big run down to the bottom now and able to block off Landon Castle in the 89 as well. Get to the inside and pass 61 of Austin Hill. Look at the run we've got on Anthony Alfredo off of turn 2 all the way to the top. Look at that run and still carrying the speed all the way down the back straightaway. Zigzagging all through the traffic, and around goes the 21. Back through the center of the field. We cut down early. Austin Hill's involved. Second caution of the race tonight. Oh, thought we had him cleared, and we didn't quite have him cleared. A terrible block on my behalf, causing a pile up down the back straightaway here at Daytona. That did not work out at all. Alex Labbe holds the lead. Second caution of the race. This will take us to the halfway mark. Diamond Jeff, welcome to the stream. Nathan Frago, welcome to the stream. They stack up down the backstretch, multiple cars involved. After we had blocked off, I believe it was Landon, no, it was not Landon Castle, it was the 21 of Anthony Alfredo who we had blocked off. And he went for a spin. Austin Hill got a big chunk of that as well to bring out the caution. So restarting in fourth. On the outside, you can see Austin Hill stayed out of the pits. Able to get to the bottom. We lost a spot off the restart, but we did get to the bottom pretty quickly. No complaints there. Have to tell where the 21 of Alfredo went, and Alfredo's still out there too. Heavy damage to the 61. Not as much for Anthony Alfredo, who was the car who went spinning. Everybody stays out of the pits, at least for now. Big run for Kyle Busch. Up to second. Oh. Very aggressive side drafting going on. Throughout the big push. You can see how wiggly the car got there. Very loose after that push from Joe Graff Jr. Landon Castle. Myatt Snyder on the outside. Labbe to the inside to block. Can alternate through the cameras one more time in this race today, just past the halfway mark. We hit cross flags under the caution. Less than 60 to go. In the season opener for the NASCAR Xfinity Series on NASCAR Heat 5. Again, the Daytona 500 will be tomorrow night when we wrap up Speed Weeks. Caution is out again, so only 2 laps ran under green in between cautions 2 and 3 in this race. Alex Sandoval, welcome to the stream. Cindy Duncan Gaming, welcome to the stream. See you, Diamond Jeff. Thanks for stopping by. 22 people currently watching in this one. Let's see if we can get the record high that we had hit last night. We had 28, so let's see if we can break that here tonight. Looks like everybody's staying out again. We can't make it on fuel if we were to pit right now, so we're going to keep the track position. Alex, the new game is going pretty well. The racing, obviously we've only done Daytona and trucks and now Xfinity, and we're only halfway through this Xfinity Series race. But very big runs that you can get from cars. We saw that in the Truck Series race, a little bit in the Xfinity Series, not quite as aggressive. I've been very aggressive at the side drafting. We've seen a lot of side drafting going on today between us and the rest of the AI. So that's definitely noticeable. Actually got a decent pull on the outside of Alex Labbe going into turn 1. Labbe's got a lot of bump drafting help from the 08 behind him as we try to side draft and stall the inside line out. Still 3 wide. Trying to make the outside work off of turn 2. Look at the pull down the back straightaway. But we are pulling the cars behind us. Not a lot of help for the moment. Alex Labbe is still there. Cannot afford to get in an accident. Remember, only a 5-second rule. Oh, a little contact after a push from behind. And I believe that lap was led by Alex Labbe. But look at us holding the outside lane. It goes to show the multiple grooves of racing in this game. On the super speedways, we were able to hold the outside for an entire lap on the restart before finally having Labbe clear us off of turn 2. We are pulling the pack behind us. Big run now, down to the bottom. Quick side draft on LeBay in the 36. And a push now from the 08 of Joe Graff Jr. now from behind. Riding aboard this Twix car for Kyle Busch in the 54. Oh, that was risky. I had to get my phone on the charger there. We gave up the outside to Alex LeBay. I got it, though. I got the phone to the charger. And a push coming from the inside from Joe Graff Jr. trying to help us out. Alex LeBay making good work right now. I believe he led that lap by inches. See the damaged car of Anthony Alfredo on the outside behind him. LeBay, not enough side drafting going on in the center of the corner there, but we can't quite have him cleared. Look at the run that 36 car's got up towards the top. Trying to pinch him. Side draft him again. There was a big pull going into the corner. And a push again from the 08. Outside stacking up behind, becoming a little disorganized. Oh wow, LeBay just keeps pulling us back in. We are just not quite able to fully clear him. And now we do clear him off the exit of the tri-oval to the roof cam. LeBay might get shuffled out of line if he's not careful, and he does. But he does have about another 3 cars behind him in that outer lane. 3 by 3 through the pack again. The 08 of Joe Graff Jr. really controlling those lines well right now in second place behind us. LeBay, though, fighting back on the very top lane with Anthony Alfredo still in the middle. Xfinity Series rookie. Running part-time in real life, obviously, here for NASCAR Heat. He will be running for a championship. Look at the crazy blocks going through the tri-oval. Oh, the outside got stacked up. Looked like the 7 really got into the back. Tried to bump draft the 21 and give him a shot going into turn 1. Three wide. The 89 car, Landon Castle, fighting back into it again. Oh, big side draft. Look at the 08. Very aggressively trying to get on the right rear corner panel. He loses a lot of momentum. Had to get out of the gas. We are getting way ahead of this pack as they go side by side behind us. Look at the run that they're about to get. We'll stick with the normal camera for the rest of the race. Final 48 laps of the race still to come. That aggressive move all the way to the bottom. Brandon Brown went from about 7th place all the way to battling side by side for 2nd after a 3 wide move to the bottom. Unbelievable. We are less than 20 laps away from our pit stop. Remember, the pit window, 38 to 42 laps. So we are just outside the pit window as of right now to make it to the end in this 2-stop race. At the start, it was looking like a 2 to 3 stop race. We had a later first caution of the race, which allowed us to get within that window to make it on just 2 stops total. So you'll probably see one more 4-tire stop, and that will be it. We'll be under green, though, for caution. And I think we've had some guys pit under the last 2 cautions, so there might be a little bit of pit strategy to be played as well if we do stay green to the finish. 3 cautions total. Shortest green flag run only being 2 laps, for the longest was the very start of the race and being 35 laps. Oh, wow. Tried to block, and there was a little contact. Got to be careful with that. Brandon Brown is there. Justin Haley, who has been in the top 5 for quite some time, hasn't really looked back much. Oh, and now up the middle. Big run for Kyle Busch to get back to second, right in front of the 22 of Cindric. Big run to the back bumper of the 68 of Brown in the center of the corner to the outside. Big side draft off the exit. Brown is still there. He's able to block. And Brandon Brown to the lead at Daytona. In about 2.5 laps, he went from 7th to 1st. 1 lap, he went from 7th all the way to 2nd. About another lap and a half to get around us. He got around us, though. Kyle Busch going to get back to the inside as we try to wheel this 54 car back to the front again. Probably led the most laps up to this point so far. Gotta be careful here, 3-car train. We've got help from Harmon, and Harmon just hangs us out. Try to get in line behind him if we can. And in front of the 20 of Harrison Burton, who's got a little bit of damage to the front of his car. Might have been involved in that 3rd caution, so that only drops us back 1 spot, luckily. Now sitting in 3rd, right behind the 74 of Harmon, who was competing for a win late last night in the truck race. To the inside. Nope, nothing there. Oh, got to be careful. Almost lost the bottom. Harrison Burton did not follow us. Now he does. Look at the aggressive racing. Harmon for the lead. He gets loose. In the middle, 3 wide for the lead. 3 wide in the center. Oh, center of the corner. A little contact. Getting washed up the hill. More pushes from behind from Harrison Burton, leaning on one another. A 3 wide pass for the lead for Kyle Busch at Daytona. Unbelievable move. A little help from the 20 car. Another Toyota Supra, Joe Gibbs, racing driver. Look at these 3 lanes. All being blocked from Kyle Busch with 42 to go at Daytona and the NASCAR Racing Experience 300. Another big run on the top, though, for the 68. Will the run stall out? Oh, not going to stall out yet. Barely able to clear. It looked like he was there for a quick moment. And then we were able to pull clear off the very exit of the corner. Center of the corner, it looked like he was there. Just couldn't quite side draft us. What the cars do is inside. We've seen blocking go wrong once to cause a big accident down the backstretch. That we caused, but luckily weren't really involved in, with no damage. The slight damage you see on the back bumper of the car in the upper left-hand corner of the screen currently is simply from the bump drafting going on. That's it, as we somehow just pulled everybody off of turn 2. This is going to be interesting. We had a big advantage there, and look at the run all 3 lanes are getting, but they all get stalled out somehow with great blocking ability out of this 54 car. 2/3 of the way home, 40 laps to go, this time by 80 laps down. We are within the pit window. We can make it on fuel to the end of the race from here, but we are still roughly 10 laps away from possible green flag stops. Speed limit will be 55 miles an hour in case we have to make that pit road stop. Just between the trucks and Xfinity race alone, I'm definitely getting practice for the Daytona 500, even though the cars will probably handle a little bit differently. I think just the ability of having a lot of laps in the lead between both races combined and working in the draft as well when I'm not leading, and we made one minor mistake, minor for us at least, and that was causing a wreck that we were able to avoid. But obviously not getting involved in a wreck ourselves definitely helps boost that confidence level going into the 500 tomorrow, as long as we can make it to the end of this one. Just 38 laps remaining. Last caution of the truck race last night came out with about 8 laps to go. We had a final restart with 4 to go. Mike Harmon, Ray Black Jr., Joe Graff Jr., and Ross Chastain are all in the top 5 right now behind Kyle Busch, the race leader. 37 to go. Down the back straightaway. Trying to block both lanes. Ashton G, welcome to the stream. Here comes Harmon to the top. Couldn't block that run. He's getting a big push from behind from the 08 of Joe Graff Jr. Side by side for the lead again. And to go up, side draft, and stall the lane out. It's going to work a little bit, plus the bump draft from behind. I believe Harmon led the lap by inches. So that was an official lead change. Back on the inside again, trying to clear both lanes, and we will clear in the center of 1 and 2. Little help on the bottom of the track, that is for sure, from Ray Black Jr. Definitely helps that we have a really fast car, though. Just 35 laps left, and we are within about 5 laps from green flag stops. Remember, that's when the caution came out. The first caution came out right about at this time. A little loose movement in the center of the corner. Tires are getting old. Speed is still there, as usual for the super speedways. It's all draft dependent. But the handling of the car will go away the more and more laps we have on our tires. It will be a 4-tire stop when we do make that final pit stop of the race as well. Just again, will it be under green or will it be under caution? You'd have to imagine we're going to see some guys coming on to pit road here pretty soon. Problem is, not so much in the front 5. The top 5, I would think, can pretty much get to the pits a little easier than mid-pack on back that are still running 3x3. That'll be very difficult. You're going to have to wait for those cars on the bottom to pit so you can then become in the bottom lane. The problem lies is, do some of those drivers have enough fuel? Have they saved enough fuel in the draft to make it a lap or 2 longer than some of the cars that are under them? That is where the problem lies. Because if we get somebody to run out of fuel in this pack, that is going to cause a major accident, especially if it's one of the lead cars. $33 to go. Got to make sure we get some drafting help coming onto pit road as well. Nice to know that we are the lead car. We have seen accidents in recent years, especially at Daytona, and even super speedways in general, because we've seen them at Talladega too during green flag stops, trying to go from 200 plus miles an hour, even in an Xfinity car, all the way down to 55 to make sure you don't speed. Good news is we can lock the tires up if we want to, because we are going to end up changing 4 tires anyways. We got a little loose in the tri-oval even. None of the leaders pit that time. How much longer will we make it? Yeah, boy, welcome to the stream. Well, we see drivers pit this time. I think we're going to try to stay out 1 lap longer. Not a lot of cars came to pit road. Maybe about 8, 9 cars maybe came onto pit road there. 31 to go. Oh, spin! Middle of the pack. Harrison Burton goes around and into the outside wall. I don't know if there was contact ensued there, but Harrison Burton went for a spin through the tri-oval to bring out caution number 4. He had damage to the front of his car from earlier. We're going to pit again. 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel will repair any damage we have on the car. Very minimal at best. Ash and G's, worth buying this game. It is, in my opinion, worth buying the game. Granted, I've only personally ran, again, Daytona last night, the Truck Series and Xfinity Series tonight, but even the Super Speedway racing just feels like it's enhanced even more, which you didn't think it could enhance much with how good it was in NASCAR Heat 4. But it's even crazier here in this game. I just feel like the runs from the AI cars, and even yourself, like the runs are just incredible. We haven't even made it to the Cup Series yet. That will be tomorrow when we run the Daytona 500, so if you're enjoying this one, the realistic broadcast on top of these full race live streams, we have them every day on the channel. So hit the subscribe button for more daily NASCAR content, such as the streams and videos like this on the daily. So restarting mid-pack, much like you saw in the truck race last night, we saw a lot of drivers go fuel only on that last stop. They're going to have very worn out tires. 27 to go in the race. Third in line all the way on the outside. Look at how stacked the cars are. The 99 there got a little loose in the center of the corner. Can't quite get down there. That's Josh Balicki, who is in the 99. We're doing a great job holding our lane on the top right now. We got the 68 car, Brandon Brown, right behind us. There's just nowhere to go. Now, one of the 22 cars, I believe that was Myatt Snyder, that moved up right in front of us. Oh no, bump drafted on the back of the 6 of David Starr. He got very loose, stayed in the gas. Oh, into the wall, contact. That's going to slow us up quite a bit. Heavy contact to the outside wall. Oh, more contact with Riley Herbst. An unfortunate error to happen there as we have lost the draft all of a sudden after getting into the outside wall. Third in line on the outside, going 3x3 through the field. Unbelievable. We were able to save the car, but there's a little bit of damage on it, but luckily not any serious and heavy damage to the race car. But we have definitely lost the draft. I really tried my best to stay in front of those last couple of cars, and we tried to jump down in front of Riley Herbst. As soon as we got hit, the left rear shot us into the wall again off the exit of turn 4. 25 laps to go at Daytona, and now we have to hope for a caution the big one, some sort of an accident. To get us back into this thing. And remember, no stage racing today, so despite the fact we have led the most laps so far, that is not going to matter. If we finish 35th, the only driver we're going to beat today is Harrison Burton, who brought out that fourth and last caution we currently have had. After a spin in the tri-oval, he's going to be the only guy we're going to beat. We're not going to have a good points day to start the season. We're just going to have to, unfortunately, just try to ride it out and hope for a caution. Everything just happens so quickly. I mean, there's just absolutely nothing we can do other than wait for a caution. The problem is, too, you can see we're 13.5 seconds off the lead, but we are going 10, 15, 20 miles an hour slower, running as one single car versus everybody in the pack. So we have to stay on the lead lap, if not hope for a free pass, which we are the first driver one lap down if we did fall a lap down, so I guess it doesn't matter if we actually go a lap down or not. We're going to have to hope for a caution and go from the rear to the front. That's going to be our only chance of getting back into this. The sooner the caution comes out, the better for us, and again, that's if we get one at all. Just gonna have to be patient. 22 to go. Thanks for all 21 of you guys currently watching this race. A lot of you guys have watched throughout the course of this one. Greatly appreciate it, and hopefully you guys stick around to the end just in case we get that caution at any point in time here. The problem is, the longer it comes out, again, the harder it's going to be for us to make it through the pack. Remember, it took us 14 laps to get to the front after starting in the rear without practice or qualifying. And currently at the line this time, we are going to have 21 laps to go. Lap 100. So if the caution came out immediately right now, we would have about 18 to go or so. NASCAR Heat 4, we didn't really have our way in the super speedways very often, especially Daytona. For whatever reason, despite performing well majority of the time, we just seemed to not really get a lot of wins. Whether it was career mode or even on these championship mode races. Either we were right there, we missed out, or we just weren't there at all. And so far today, despite leading the most laps with 20 laps to go, we're back in 35th off of the pace because we have lost the draft. Still got about 23.5 seconds behind the leaders, so still got roughly about another 17.5 or so seconds. Actually, a little more than that with draft speed. Yeah, they probably still got about another 22 seconds or so before they catch us in a lap's time. So they're going to have 18 laps to go this time by. trying to wait it out, and then we get to see Kyle Busch if we do get the caution to try and go from the rear to the front. We always know that's exciting. This time we'll be driving as Kyle Busch. It's going to be an anticlimactic finish for us here today if we don't get that caution. Every point matters, and again, racing for that regular season title, this is not a good start here to this one. If we can't get help. And it looks like Austin Cindric has lost the draft as well, because he's a little over a second behind Justin Haley in 33rd. So I believe Austin Cindric has lost the draft. And now he's going to need a caution as well. About 30 seconds off the lead at the line. So, I don't play that way. Plus, you got to figure, too, if we wreck ourselves and we have more than 5 seconds of damage, I can't repair it anyway, so. Now, a lot of those drivers, with taking fuel only, they have worn out tires. Less grip with the handling of their race cars up towards the front of the field. Well, all the way through the field. And on top of that, all the other drivers obviously are at more risk of blowing a tire. So they've got that going for them. It looks like we might just have to look for redemption tomorrow. Definitely not going to give up in this one. You never know. The leaders are only going to have 14 laps to go when they get to the line this time. And they're only roughly about another 10 seconds behind us. They're gaining about 3 seconds a lap or so on us. So they're likely going to get to us in about 3 to 3.5 laps. If we don't get the yellow. We could still be involved with the finish, though, if we do stay green to the end. Obviously, again, the lead cars will catch us. So we still might have a crazy finish to this one, even if we're not necessarily involved in trying to win the race ourselves. And again, if we fall a lap down, we can get the free pass. We're the only driver that would be 1 lap down. Obviously, once the leaders get around us. 12 laps to go this time by for the front of the field. Who will win the season opener and lock themselves into the playoffs at Daytona here today? A 12-man field for the postseason in the Xfinity Series as normal. 26 races. It's Kyle Busch, who are running for the championship anyway. So that doesn't even really play into consideration either. Daytona is treated as a wild card race, and boy, it might be one as such here today. 11 laps to go. And as I assumed, 3 to 3.5 laps, it has been about 3 1/4 laps, and they are closing in. They're going to be about 10, 15 to 20 miles an hour. Faster than us. We're going to try to pull off the block and stay on the lead lap. At least kind of help with track position. In case maybe we'll have some guys pit, we can move ahead of them if and when the caution comes out. It looks like Austin Hill in the 61, I believe, is the race leader. So he gets the move. He's going to bump draft us off of turn 4, trying to help himself out right now. Ryan Sieg in line right behind him. A freight train line, 10 laps to go at Daytona for Austin Hill.